Before I do anything, I will script the entire video. I will write out every single second of the video. And I could get one line into it and ditch the entire script once I start actually working on the video. But scripting definitely...
Hello everyone, and welcome to TFOL Talk, the podcast where we shine a light on awesome teen fans in the LEGO community doing amazing things, and maybe the occasional AFOL too. I'm BenTheBrickBuilder, aka Kavi, and today we're going to be hanging out with Ben, otherwise known as BenTheBrickBuilder. How are you doing, man?
What's going on, everybody? And first of all, I just want to draw attention to the hypocrisy of the name TFOL Talk. You are no longer a TFOL, and I have not been a TFOL for a few years. What's going on with that?
Hey, I am still a TFOL. I'm 18. Teen is in the name. I may be a legal adult, but it's just that. I am not an adult until I'm 20, I'll have you know. But yeah. And we have adult guests on all the time. It's for, like, hindsight and retrospective and all that. Alright, but seriously, how are you doing, dude?
I'm doing really good.
Yeah?
Like, what honestly, more should I say during that?
Honestly, really good. That's a great response. We don't need anything more than that. So, to start off, who is BenTheBrickBuilder, and what do you do in the LEGO world?
I am BenTheBrickBuilder.
I said, who is BenTheBrickBuilder, and what do you do in the LEGO world?
So, I am a YouTuber and mock builder, and for a while a TikToker and all that jazz. I really like things like the castle theme, and I've done a lot of fantasy and Star Wars and things like that.
You were a TikToker for a bit then. What's the story behind that?
So, it was the, like, peak of the LEGO TikTok community. I joined in, like, October 2020. I joined to like, promote my YouTube channel and stuff, and it didn't really work. There was, like, this weird mix where I was only doing TikTok or only doing YouTube. And, like, it really didn't work out super well.
I see. So you kind of focused too much on one or the other then.
Yes. And then I've also found that I don't super enjoy making shorts as much. Like, I like making the occasional short, but I find they don't do as well as, like, my long-form content on YouTube. And especially on TikTok now, they really aren't doing well. So I've given up on TikTok.
Okay, so now you're solely YouTube then?
Pretty much. I have an Instagram that I really neglect.
I have heard that, like, the TikTok LEGO space has definitely changed a lot since it was in its heyday. Makes me sound old, but heyday of, like, 2020, 2021.
No, heyday is correct. I joined, like, on the tail end of the heyday. I probably should have started a few months before, and then... Because if you look at the people who did start during that time, you got, like, Matt Mellish, Breaking Up Brad. The bigger ones started even earlier. All these people who started on TikTok and now have huge platforms. Maticus Bricks. There's also so many people that have just no longer making any content that were solely on TikTok.
Right. A lot of LEGO TikTokers have kind of just, like, stopped making content altogether, haven't they?
Pretty much.
It's interesting, really, when that stuff happens, I guess, to see how, like, how the, like, field when it comes to content creation will constantly be changing. Like, it's you'll have some platforms that really, like, pop off for a while, and then some will stay, and others, I don't know, maybe it's algorithm changes or too many people on it or whatever, it'll push people off or just completely change the scene. And it's interesting to, I guess, have to adapt to that, no?
Yeah. And it's interesting, like, because there's still a large TikTok LEGO community, and even though I don't really upload as much, I'm still making friends through TikTok, even though I'm not really a LEGO TikToker anymore.
That's good to know, because it's just like you're still a member of the community and still making content in some capacity. It's not like, oh, you don't make content on TikTok, you're not one of us type thing.
Yeah.
That's really good to hear. I'm glad. The next question is, how and when did you get into Lego?
All my life. Like, I've been building with Lego since before I can remember.
Wow.
Like, not even like, oh, I started with Duplo. I was given like a box of basic bricks when I was 3, and I have no recollection of it until like I got a one of the original Lego Batman sets for Christmas when I was like 4.
Okay, so that's like one of your first Lego memories then.
Yes. And even then I was mock building, because it had 2 little builds. It had a Batman little dragster and a Catwoman motorcycle.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you built the motorcycle first, and then you built the Batmobile. But I was 4. I don't know how to follow instructions, and I still don't. But before I would let my dad finish building the Batman dragster, I was already customizing the motorcycle with the pieces in the set.
Oh my god, I love that. Literally just like mock builder right from the start.
And then it just all kept accumulating, and I didn't have like a ton of Lego growing up, but I had enough for when I was a kid, and now that I'm an adult, it's a lot, like too much, a lot, very much a lot.
I think a lot of us can relate to that. Just a bit too much, maybe.
There's piles everywhere in my house.
On today's episode
this is a stack of unbuilt Lego sets.
Right, exactly. On today's episode of, God, what's it called? Strange Addiction? I forgot what the show is called. God damn it.
My Strange Addiction.
My Strange Addiction. God,
or
they could
Hoarders.
they could do a whole documentary on just the Lego community. That would be seriously funny. But yeah, no, look, what I like to say is I didn't come up with this. Somebody did. Credit to whoever came up with this saying. You never have too much Lego, you just don't have enough space.
I know a guy that has too much Lego.
Okay. You know what, fair enough. Maybe there is a limit, but yeah, if you just don't look at it.
The guy I sort for. So the guy that I sort for, I sort for a Bricklink store as a part-time job. I tell people this a lot. There's no such thing as too much Lego, but he's got too much Lego.
He's the sole outlier, the one man who has too much Lego.
By the way, today's podcast is brought to you by Dotu Bricks. DOTU Bricks on Bricklink. Your go-to for bricks.
Do you like have the script right there for the for the sponsor? Like the script on the table, you're like, all right, let's get the sponsor in there.
No. But seriously, go check it out, y'all.
Go check it out. That would be pretty smart though if you were like prepared and had like the little sponsor script right there ready. It's like Brad with Brick Monarch Shop. Any chance you can get to like advertise it, it's just, oh, you know, you can pick up a this, that, the other Doto that I can't say it, bricks. Dotu, that's it. But yeah, no, that's really cool to hear that like you started mocking like as soon as you got the sets basically, because I feel like often when kids first get into Lego, there's like 2 sides. The ones who are just like, the set's cool anyways, so like I built this with it, or the ones that like strictly stick to the sets and then say like their set is broken when like some pieces fall off of it. And it just, I always find it fun to hear when like people just get straight into the mocking side of it, because I don't think I did that necessarily, but it's just really cool. It's like a good sign of like creativity at a young age, I guess.
Yeah, like I would build a set and it would not last long, and I'd take it apart and start using the pieces for other things.
Yeah. You know, I'm slightly envious of like you guys who can do that so easily, like just take apart a set, because like for me, like I desperately want to sometimes, because I'm like, oh, the things I could build with this, but then I get too attached to them and then I just have like the whole shelf behind me. But it's like there's so many things you could just take apart and like just make the coolest things, but the emotional attachment. But yeah.
And it's like I would intentionally buy specific sets for the parts.
Oh, yeah.
So that I could use them for in order to build specific things. Because I was building like castle, I would end up getting like a lot of Ninjago, or I would get a lot of the, not a lot of it. I would get some of like the first wave of Nexo Knights, and this is times when we didn't actually have a Lego castle theme. I would be buying things that were close enough for the parts to build castle with.
Right, exactly. The dark times when you guys didn't have like anything to work with at all. Those times are changing now, luckily.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And like, even though I'm not a huge castle fan myself, like I love the fantasy stuff, and it's nice to see the community starting to get some more of the things that that they want. Like after, years of screaming, "Can we get more castle stuff, please?" Like it's finally happening. All right, let's see. So, how did you join the online Lego community then?
So it had to be like 2014 to 2016-ish, somewhere in there. I started watching a lot of Lego YouTube. Like obviously the big names and Beyond the Brick, going to all the conventions and getting all the build videos and things like that. And then 2017, I recorded and uploaded my first YouTube video. It should be privated, so you cannot go watch that.
Aww.
And ever since then, I've been off and on. I'll send you the link.
Yay.
Just so just you, so
okay.
you can see how bad it is. And then through YouTube, I eventually joined Instagram and Flickr, Discord. Actually, before Discord, if anyone watching has been in the Lego community, especially the Lego mock community for a long time, what was it called? Google Plus, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like a Google social media type thing, kind of like how Discord you can have channels. Here, was it called Google Plus? Let me just look it up.
Oh man, I didn't know about this. I knew about Google Hangouts, but not Google Plus.
Google Hangouts came afterwards. Okay.
Oh my
yes,
God.
It was a social network that closed it in 2019, and that's how there's absolutely nobody I kept in contact from that, but I joined, you guys can't see me, but I am air quoting lugs, and there were a couple times we did little build collabs that we put on Instagram and Flickr and maybe YouTube, but yeah, it was a fun time in the Lego community that I don't really think about that often because of how easily connected the community is now.
Interesting. What do you mean by that? That you don't think about it as often because of how easily connected it is?
So there was, at least because I was a dumb kid, I wasn't really aware of how to connect with other people other than having this Google Plus and being able to meet other people. But now we have Instagram and Discord, and I now have genuine friends that I've made in the community that I can talk with, and back then I just had people that I was acquaintances with in these small chats.
Okay. I see what you mean. That's really awesome to hear.
And I guess I wasn't as connected as I am now with other people in the community.
I see what you're saying. And you think that connection has come more from you maturing, or just the more interconnected everything's become and the bigger the community's gotten, or?
Definitely a combination of the both.
That's cool to hear. That is something that I've heard a lot, that from a lot of people that, their friendships in the Lego community have kind of, gone beyond just Lego friends and become actual just genuine friends generally who have connected over this one thing. And it's such a lovely thing, honestly.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of storytelling in your videos, I've noticed. And that's something that I really love about them. So I wanted to ask, what's the process of making them like?
That's a really good question because I could talk about this for hours.
Go ahead.
So I don't take a conventional approach to video editing where you like record it all and then edit it together. Because I find that's actually very limiting, and I don't enjoy like the editing process as much. I will actually, before I do anything, I will script the entire video. I will write out every single second of the video.
Okay.
And I could get one line into it and ditch the entire script once I start actually working on the video. But scripting definitely helps. It definitely makes me think of everything that I need to do for this video. But I will typically like do a section of the voiceover. I'll record what I'll be voicing over. Like I typically start with the intro because starting at the beginning. And then I will be working on like 5 seconds at a time, going back and forth, recording, editing, because I find that allows me to make sure I have everything I want, everything I need to say. I've talked to other YouTubers, other people who they're like at the end of a video and they're trying to work on a video and they've already destroyed the builds and they have some footage but not enough to actually edit it together.
No, that's awful.
Dan the fan, this is you, but you won't see this for like 2 years.
Oh man, calling out fellow community members on the podcast. How could you? Honestly.
Nah, Dan's super chill, awesome guy. I've known him for years.
That's awesome.
But he's gone now.
Oh no.
Well, he's just gone for a couple of years.
Okay.
He'll be back.
Nice.
It'll be a triumphant return.
Hell yeah. Well, when he sees this, he'll know that people thought that you thought of him.
But first, because you specifically asked about the storytelling, and I started going into like my video process. But I like to add little bits that are like little bits from my life and how like I was connected to this part of the video. But I also like to add in, or try to add in, like little bits of potential future lore. And I really want to like sit down at some point and like write down, maybe not actually write down, maybe make a video on, if I'm making a video on it, I will have written it down. Just make lore for like specifically my castle world and my space fantasy universe that the Duchess's Crow takes place in.
Oh right, yeah.
Also, you tagged you mentioned that in your story as steampunk. It's not steampunk.
Steampunk.
Treasure Planet is not steampunk.
Steampunk-esque. I knew it wasn't like specific steampunk, but I was like, I don't know. I don't want to say just space pirate ship. I want it like to, because it has
fantasy.
Space fantasy. Okay, I will correct that. Big title. Big what's it? Big text on the screen right now. This ship is space fantasy. All right, that has been clarified. Awesome.
But I'm also very bad at coming up with lore, so I'm just trying to like steal little bits from other things until I can create my own that's like unique.
That's interesting you say that though, because I mean, when you think about it, like everything is just little bits of other things that inspire you, know? And then by combining them, you get a product, an end product that's unique in its own way.
Yes, I guess like there's no such thing as an original idea, but like I'm not the greatest storyteller, or at least coming up with my own story.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what you were talking about with like the way you go about editing is a big thing about that, because you're kind of, the story of the video is unfolding as you go, right? It's not like it's all pre-planned out, then you're recording it necessarily. It's like okay, I guess it is. You're planned out the script, but it's all very open to change. Fluid.
It's not like set in stone.
Exactly.
It's there are times where I will, and there's a lot of sections that are exactly how I've scripted it, but like if I'm working on a video and I'm like, it doesn't quite flow here, I'm gonna have something else before I transition into this And then I can probably use this exact piece of script rather than trying to like force a transition.
Okay. So kind of working with the vibe of it as you're going, yeah?
Yes. Also, music is key in my
Yes.
videos. I I probably spend as much time looking for the right piece of music as I do like recording and editing. Just because without the right music, every single transition in my videos would be terrible.
Really?
I found that the best way to like transition from like one point to another is a music change, however subtle it might be. I typically, if I'm working on a scene, I'll have one set of music, and then for the next scene, I'll have another piece of music, and usually, or sometimes I'll like actually acknowledge the transition and introduce the next part, but sometimes I can just fade one out into the next and then start talking about the next part without having to draw attention that this is a deliberate transition into something else.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know what you mean. Like, I have noticed that music is really a big factor when it comes to like transitioning the moods and, of course, I guess the scenes. And it's something that I've seen a lot of, the best like YouTubers and video makers do. And it's a really fantastic technique, and I've also started to kind of implement that into my videos. But from you talking about the way you're looking at making your videos, it sounds much more to me like you're making a film rather than like a YouTube video.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. So, this is a piece of advice for anyone who wants to do any sort of content creation. If there is someone who makes videos and you really like their style of video, essentially with your own stuff, make one of their videos. I have a video on my channel. It's turning Duplo into a masterpiece, I think is the title.
Yeah.
Where I essentially took the style of Gawx art, GAWX art. He's probably one of the best YouTubers there is out there. And I really wish a lot more of the Lego YouTube community would take a lot more from like the art community rather than like the challenge community. There's a lot of fast-paced content in the Lego community that just is the same and unoriginal. Today, we're going to be doing these 20 things.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. It's kind of like gone from like reviews and top 10s to more like then top 10, 20 builds and things like that. But that's a really good bit of advice that you gave there about kind of taking the inspiration from the people that inspire you most. I think it's similar to a saying that, is said a lot in the art community, which is steal like an artist, not like a thief, where you're basically taking heavy inspiration from somebody, but it's always going to be unique because you're not that person. So it's always has your own unique spin to it, and then you adapt it into something that's even more uniquely yours. And it seems like you've, like what you're saying, you've really kind of like done that.
Yeah. And then after I like made that video essentially in his style, I was able to take techniques that I learned from doing that to develop my own style.
Exactly. It fed into your own style more, and then it just like it's constantly evolving with you, and I absolutely love that. I also really like what you said about how you wish that the Lego community would take more inspiration from something like the art community, because it's really fascinating to me to see how the Lego community, and I guess other communities as well in content creation, but specifically the Lego one, is really affected by, I guess, the leading the leading style of video in whatever genre of YouTube it may be. So right now a lot of people are taking inspiration from like the more fast-paced videos, the kind of TikTok style, the Tommy in it kind of like, hello everybody, here's this fast transition and stuff. But I'm interested to see what the next, I guess, wave of inspiration will be. And I have actually noticed quite a few people in the community taking inspiration from content creators and styles, kind of like the art community. You, for one example, as well as like Tommy C. Bricks. His videos really stood out to me because they were upbeat, but they weren't like overloading your brain with information. But there was a lot of really, he uses a lot of really interesting techniques, videoing techniques, music transitions that I hadn't seen before in Lego content. And I've noticed that kind of style more in other areas of YouTube. So it's really cool to see how everybody grabs the different inspirations from other content creators and styles. And I've been trying to do that a lot myself as well. I was going to say, by the way, you said you could talk about hours about the video process. Is there anything else you want to talk more about? Because I think that's really interesting.
I've talked to like multiple people, and not just like in the Lego community, that, oh, I want to start making videos, but I don't know, they're not going to be good. If you're going to, in the words of Jake the dog, the first step towards being sorta, no, sucking is the best step. Sucking at something is the first step towards being sorta good at something.
There we go.
Like, I have 4 years of terrible videos, and I have about 1 year of really good, not to toot my own horn, videos.
No, exactly. Like, you're always going to improve from when you start, and if you don't, there's something wrong there. Like, why are you not improving if you're consistently doing it? You know, if your videos stay exactly the same, then there's something not quite right there. But yeah, your videos and your skills are always going to improve over time, but you're always going to start being not the best at it. And it was really cool, like, looking through your YouTube channel for info for this podcast, seeing the very first video on it compared to where you are now.
What's the first video, and should I be privatizing it?
Oh, shoot. It's like a introduction to BenTheBrickBuilder.
Oh! A side effect of my biggest regret on the internet.
What's the side
So,
effect?
my vlog channel is actually my first channel.
Right.
It was my original channel. And about like a year after I started, I had over 100 subscribers. And I was getting like 15 to 20 views probably. And I saw someone who was in a similar situation, also in the Lego community. He was like, I have a lot of subscribers and I'm getting like no views. I'm starting over on this channel to reset the algorithm. And he skyrocketed. So I tried to do the same thing, and I failed.
No, what do you mean?
It didn't work.
That's really weird. Do you have any idea why?
He probably just got really lucky, and he was also uploading a lot more. And I think at the time he was probably making better videos than I was too.
Yeah, the algorithm playing favorites, I guess.
I wish I hadn't started from scratch. I mean, you can always look back and think, oh, if I did this differently, I would probably be in a better position. But I think I probably would be in a better position if I never started over.
Really?
But I am now using that as a vlog channel. I upload once in a blue moon. And actually, I've only been uploading once in a blue moon on my main channel anyways. But I started with subscribers on the vlog channel, and I'd say it's doing okay.
Exactly. No, I'm glad to hear. How come, if not really if not really much changed, how come you regret switching to a new channel?
I didn't really have an audience that like followed me there.
I see.
I had a couple people that like, we are here to support you, and they were like the people that were watching my videos. But I should have just stuck to the original channel, kept grinding, you know.
Stuck with what you started, right?
Yeah.
I totally get that. But hey, you now have more subscribers on your second channel than on your vlog channel. So you're doing something right.
Yep. Yep.
Speaking of which, are you going to make a Brick Fair 2023 vlog at any point?
I literally just have to record a voiceover outro, and then I'll have like some of the builds from the event like as the B-roll.
Cool.
And then I can upload it to the vlog channel.
Nice. Are you going to show any of like the activities outside of that, or is it just going to be like a build showcase?
No, that I just need to record the like outro, the thanks for watching.
Oh, okay, that's it. And then you're almost
Everything
done
else
then.
is edited together.
Oh, nice.
And it
Okay.
has been for like weeks.
Dude, just go, thanks for watching, bye, and then you're done. So, you mentioned in one of your videos, well, yeah, you mentioned before that you want to do Lego full time. So, I'm wondering, where are you with that process now? Has anything changed with that? What's up with the journey for that?
So I'm pretty much in the same position I was. I'm assuming this is the video from the like my intro to this year.
Yes.
Yeah, my goals for 2023. I'm a little better than where I was, but like I'm not really close. One of my 2 part-time jobs is sorting for a brickling store, so I guess that's kind of doing Lego as a job, but not quite how exactly what I mean by doing Lego full time. I am eons away from like being monetized on YouTube, and that's definitely going to be like the biggest stepping point to being full time. Obviously, monetization alone is not really how you make decent money on YouTube. There's a lot of other things that go into that.
Exactly. I see though. What do you so what would you like Lego full time to look for you to look like for you?
For the most part, I'd want it to be content creation, whether it be through the YouTube videos, maybe a new social media app comes up and actually pays creators well. I've also, it's been a while, but I also have been like streaming on Twitch, and I've made
Oh.
like $13.
That's still money though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But I'm playing Minecraft and not doing anything with Lego
Okay.
yet.
What if you installed that like Minecraft mod and or texture pack that like makes everything Lego, and then it is technically Lego content?
So I've actually got plans for
Oh.
a Lego Minecraft video, and with my main issues with Lego Minecraft as a whole.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
You'll have to wait.
I'll have to wait? Okay. Well, that's something to look forward to, but that's really interesting to hear. All right. So, who were some people that originally inspired you to start doing Lego content?
That was a long time ago.
If you don't say Just Too Good and or Jang Bricks, you are not a true Lego fan. No, I'm joking.
Okay, Just Too Good and Jang Bricks, absolutely.
There we go.
They're like a given. I haven't watched much of their like recent content,
Yeah.
but like when I was getting started on like just Lego YouTube or just watching it in general, I would, as soon as they uploaded a video, I was watching it.
You were like a diehard fan.
People like Rich Boy J, Solid Brick Studios. I've already mentioned him, but Dan the Fan.
I do know that name, Dan the Fan. I feel like I've seen him around somewhere.
He's like an amazing builder and just one of the best Lego YouTubers.
Oh, yeah. I know the name and I think I know the profile picture, but I don't think I've seen any of his videos. Dude, stuff is really good. You were right. That's amazing. Okay. That's really cool. And so are you friends with Dan the Fan then?
Yeah, we've started like talking like a couple years ago on the internet, and we finally met at Brick Fair. Or no, not Brick Fair, Brick Worlds, Chicago.
Really?
Yeah.
The last one? This year's one?
And just his video style in general and his build style have been like a huge inspiration for my video and build style. Beyond the brick, just all of the builds that they would share from all the different conventions, they were all huge inspirations.
That's really cool to hear. And I really like to hear that, you'd be able to become friends with some of the people who inspired you originally as well.
I met Dan the Fan like a few years into like my content creation stuff. I think we met because we both entered the same contest, like a mock contest.
Okay. So, let's see. I think we can get into... Let's do a viewer-submitted question. We got one by someone you know very well, Bricking Up Brad. And Bricking Up Brad asks, why do you like the worst castle faction?
First off, it's not the worst.
Okay, I agree.
Black Knights exist. I had maybe 2 castle sets growing up. Even though castle was like the main thing I did with my Lego growing up. Mostly because like my cousins also did like they also did like castle stuff with their Lego. But I had a Kingdom set and a 2013 castle set. And then I had like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit as well. And I think it's called the Gatehouse Raid. I can't think of the name, but it's set 70402, I believe. That was literally my biggest Lego castle set that I had growing up.
Okay.
I talk about it a little bit in my Dragon Knight Cavalry video.
Yes.
That having 2 of the knights and one of the horse armors, it just really, I think the words I used in the video, it really cemented them as my faction. But like I grew up looking in like the Lego catalogs at like the Crown Knights from the fantasy era and the trolls and the Kingdom ones and
right.
At my grandparents' house there were my uncle's old Lego, and there were Crusaders and Black Falcons, and I was a Black Falcon guy. But like,
ooh, it was kind of like it was the faction, one of them you kind of grew up with, right? Because it was around that time period.
Say that again?
It's like one of the main factions that you grew up with, I'm guessing, right?
Yes, the Dragon Knights is like, it was the biggest faction I had to grow up with. I was able to use like the Nexo Knight bodies, like the orc, like the troll or whatever, the red monster things. If I just swapped out the head, gave them a helmet, they worked really well with the Dragon Knights. But like the Crown Knights, because they were around when I was growing up, even though I didn't have any, they're like my second favorite castle faction, followed by the Trolls.
Ooh, the Trolls are good.
And the Black Falcons.
Exactly. It was kind of like your castle theme, that one, right? And then your factions, because you grew up with those, and they were like the most prevalent ones at the time.
Also, the Red Dragon Knights, they look so cool. They have some of like the best and most detailed printing.
They are cool though. Like I see.
They just look so cool. The black and red is just so menacing.
Exactly. Like it's just a good looking faction.
Also, having a whole bunch of like the horses and horse armor just looks incredible altogether.
Absolutely. A whole army of dragon horses. You answered half of this question earlier, but the question is, were you once a TFOL? And if so, what was your experience as one like? Did people ever give you a hard time for being a Lego fan as a teenager? So we already know that you were a teen fan, but what was it like for you?
Yeah, I never had a dark age. From as long as I can remember until present day, I have always been into Lego. But like there got to a point around late elementary, middle school, early high school where everyone else grew out of Lego. I just didn't bring it up.
Okay.
So there was no backlash to it because nobody knew about it. Like, my family knew about it. Even some of my extended family knew about it. My close friends knew about it. But it was also not something that, like, we talked about much. Because not a lot of them had particularly, like, interest in it. But, like, the people that knew then, I'm still kind of close with now, and they're pretty supportive. And like I saw a good chunk of my friends like this past past weekend. We don't really get to hang out that much, but we all got together for like an end of summer thing. And a couple of them were like asking how the YouTube thing was going, and I got to check in with them and be like, it's going good, but also it was going better a few months ago than it is now, and it's just really cool that they're supportive of it. But as a TFOL, I just didn't talk about it with people outside of people super close or also in the Lego community.
But yeah, so you didn't really have any issues with being a teen fan into it then. You just didn't really have any friends who were also into it.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
I get that. That's nice to hear that, like, your friends, even though they weren't into it, still, like, checked in to see how you were doing with the channel later on, though.
It's definitely, like, what's the word? Reassuring that it's like, this is what they know I'm doing and trying to do, and that's always great.
Exactly, and you're not being judged for it. Okay, so if Lego was going to start focusing on teens more, like how they have with this whole Adults Welcome campaign, what do you think they could do for TFOLs to cater towards them more?
Kind of like how they're doing the adults, they're having all these themes brought back with huge sets, but rather than themes being brought back with huge sets, themes being brought back with smaller sets. And I know a lot of AFOLs will also agree with this, but like, but it's like, I guess even now, just looking at all these huge sets of themes that I like, and it's just like, I could get it if it wasn't so big. Make it smaller.
Yeah. I agree. Absolutely.
So I guess having themes being brought back at a smaller scale than having just the big $300, $400, $500, $600, $700 sets. Bring back themes.
I agree, especially like early 2000s themes. Like that stuff was fire. And like, or just stuff more inspired like it. Once again, like Monkey Kid's doing great. That's great. But like,
Absolutely.
I agree with what you said, especially about like the money thing. That's a very popular opinion that people have said on the podcast and outside of it too. But about them doing smaller sets and more of those rather than just the giant sets, because like, yeah, we love the big sets, but when they're all big sets, we're not all millionaires, unfortunately. A lot of us are broken nerds. So like, yeah, and that's exactly like I think what kept people into it before. Like that's what got kids into it. That's what kept teens into it, was that you could just go to the store with like, I don't know, like 50, even less, like $30 and get like a substantial set from this cool wave. But it wasn't like, you gotta buy the 550, is it? Dollar UCS Razor Crest, or you can get the small one. Like, I mean, granted they do have a small one with that, but you get what I'm saying. It's like more of what you said basically with the smaller sets, because then there's more variety and people can actually. It's like a gateway drug is the first thing that came to mind. That's probably not a great reference to make to it, but it's a way to get into it, an easy way to get addicted.
Another thing they could do is, so like I grew up with Ninjago. Like I remember the first couple episodes that came out before the first season. Something they could do is kind of have Ninjago age up with the people who are growing up on it.
Yeah.
Rather than it entirely being a kids show at the same level for the entire time, because there are so many people I've talked to, it was like just as they got older they stopped watching Ninjago because they were still making it a kids show, which it should be a kids show, but maybe make it less cheesy and corny as it gets more and more, as it just keeps going.
Yeah, that's a really good point there. It's interesting that you say that actually, because I mean, I'm assuming, do you like, you don't stay up to date with Ninjago, like the show, I'm assuming, right?
I do.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
So wait, are you a Ninjago fan?
Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay, I didn't realize that.
Dragons
Maybe
Rising is coming out in a month. Or part 2 is.
I have to watch part 1 still.
That's actually pretty good.
I've heard it's great, but it's not on the Netflix. Like, I have a VPN, but it's still not showing up. It's infuriating, and I'm dodging spoilers like bullets. Um, what's it? That's interesting though, because
Batman
I've
shows up and he
found.
dies.
Oh no! It's a crossover with the Lego Batman movie. But yeah, like, that's interesting that you say that though, because what I've found and heard a lot of people mention is that the show did grow up with the audience, like going from season 1 to like it got deeper, like the lore got deeper and the story got darker the further it went, but then it kind of reset at like Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, I think, and it's kind of doing that again now, it looks like.
Yeah, that's kind of it. How I would, I guess I would agree with that it did until, Forbidden Spinjitzu, but there were a couple seasons where it was like this is as, especially like in the later seasons, it was just, this feels kiddier than the rest of it. Maybe it's just because I'm older, or because it's just genuinely kiddier than the first couple seasons, and I'm not looking back at them with the lens of nostalgia.
Yeah. It's interesting. I do wonder that a lot, but it's an interesting point you make there, and I do definitely see what you're saying. It looks like though, luckily, it's getting again into the deeper and more mature with like Dragons Rising again. So we're getting back to that point. So hopefully it will stay there. What I've seen of Dragons Rising, it looks, which are the first 2 episodes, I think it looks very promising so far. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I think you make a good point about the maturing with the audience, because I think that's what kept a lot of Ninjago fans, is the fact that they grew up with the show and the show grew up with them. What do you think would be a good way of stopping TFOLs from going into their dark ages? Do you think just like a theme more catered to teens, like you kind of alluded to before, or something else?
I guess it would be kind of trying to, you'd kind of have to make it no longer a toy in order to like keep people from growing out of it. Because as we see it, it's a collectible, it's an art form, it's a stress release. When you're a teenager, you're just like, this is a toy, I'm done playing with this.
I haven't heard that take before necessarily.
But the second it's no longer a toy, it loses all appeal to the next generation, I believe.
I really find that interesting. So, do you think they're kind of doing that now with like the more display sets, like the flowers and the helmets and all that? Or are you talking going even further than that?
I think they're going too far on some situations where they're making it no longer a toy. There have been so many just huge sets in the last year that have just sold terribly because nobody wants them. They're not what people have asked for. They're too big. They're too expensive, and they're just not a toy. They're just a shelf piece, a display. I do really love like the botanical collection and the helmets and the things like that, but they've got to find the line that's, this is a collectible that we want adults to buy and collect without pulling it too far from being a toy. This was meant to be played with. This was meant to get taken apart and put back together 8,000 different ways. Because if you lose the toy part, you lose Lego.
Absolutely. That's okay. So you're saying kind of finding a happy medium between both is what you're thinking.
Yes.
That would be really cool. Do you think there's anything that they've done before that kind of hits that in your mind?
Pirate ships. The Lego pirate ships. We haven't gotten like a really good one in all. We got the ideas Barracuda Bay, but like it's the right level of, this is a toy that you can play with. And there is an accepted hobby of people who just build model ships.
That's interesting. So it kind of is, I guess, bridging the gap between toy but model as well. That sweet spot, right?
I think there should be some of that, but not only that. there should be sets
Yeah.
that are only for kids. And I've seen so many adult fans of Lego complain that a set was made for a kid.
Yeah. No, exactly. When like that's the thing that got them into it in the first place if they got into it from a young age. Like it's an interesting dilemma there because I guess when you get older you depending on your mindset can kind of forget about what the core of Lego is. And I do that sometimes as well. Sometimes I think, "Oh, it's like it's too basic or too kiddish or oh, it's not accurate enough." And I'm like, "Okay, but like as well, it's designed for an 8-year-old to play with as well." So it's a difficult thing to remember. But that's an interesting point you make there. I like that. For me, like I mean, with the art stuff, I don't mind it necessarily. I do think that's doing pretty good at kind of catering to a wider audience because it's making people look at Lego and be like, oh, so it's not just a toy, like it's a model building thing. Like I think with some of the art stuff and the botanicals especially. But I do agree that they shouldn't lean too far into that as well because once again, then they kind of lose the essence of the toy. So, what is it that like draws you to Castle more than other themes?
I guess it was mostly uh, growing up. My cousins, they had more Lego than I did, and they did castle stuff with theirs. And I was being a big old copycat and was like, I want to do castle too. And I was getting like the Lord of the Rings sets, and because I love Lord of the Rings, and then I had like a card table that with all the base plates, a little. I didn't build full houses. They just had a 1 brick high wall around so you could play in
Yeah.
it. But I had all this castle stuff, and I was trying to cobble together as best I could castle-looking figures from what I had, and then it just kind of stuck. I've had phases where I've done other things where I've focused primarily on Star Wars, or no, it's mostly been just medieval or Star Wars for the most part.
The two polar opposites. So it just kind of stuck then. It kind of just happened by chance, I guess, and then just kind of stuck
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think that's like the best way when things just kind of happen like that. That's so cool. Okay. So from Commander Batlord, he asks, if you could choose one license to get one and only one set, what would it be and why?
Oh. Gravity Falls and the Mystery Shack.
Ooh, that's such a good pick though. Like, honestly, yes.
There's been some pretty good ideas submissions. I'd probably want like the full cast. You got Grunkle, Stan, Mabel, Dipper, Seuss,
Seuss.
Wendy, and you have to have Bill Cipher. Maybe
yeah.
one of the weird Mageddon monsters, just like as a little side build.
Okay.
Oh, and if you want to get really freaky with it, you have it so you can build the Mystery Shack, but you could also build the like mech thing, like build attachments to it, the mech thing that they fight with in Weird Mageddon.
Yeah.
And
That would
the reason
be so
I would
much fun.
I'm picking that one is because rather than having, because there's so many themes that I would want sets for, but I'd want multiple sets for. With Gravity Falls, if you have the Mystery Shack, also you need Waddles. I just remembered that. If you have the Mystery
Yeah.
Shack, you don't really need much else. There's not many
True.
more points of it happens mostly at the Mystery Shack.
Now you make a good point there. Like there aren't
Or like out in the forest, and you don't need a separate build for just out in the forest.
Exactly. No, it's a lot of it takes place in just like random areas in the town that are easily recreatable or forest, like you said. And I guess it's just the Mystery Shack mostly and the main characters that are the hardest things to make. I think including what's his name, Stan's brother, that would also be a good inclusion.
I'm blanking. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, him.
Wait,
that
no, they
guy.
were both
But
Stan.
no. Oh, they weren't they?
Yeah. The
Yeah, they're
J.K.
both
Simmons
Stanley.
one.
The J.K.
So it was Stanley and
What?
Stanford.
Right. That's what it was.
They were
But no,
one
that's a
was
good
Stanley,
pick.
one was Stanford.
I wonder how they do the book though with like the claw hand. Like would they just print multiple claw hands? Like how would they do the 6 fingers? Anyways. But yeah, no, I think that's a really good pick, honestly. And it makes a lot of sense there with what you said about like there not really being many other things you could build. Maybe like the only other thing I could think is the big portal. Spoilers for Gravity Falls. The big portal underneath the mystery shack.
That could be an alternate build with the pieces that would make up the rest of the mech.
Oh, dude. That's a good idea. I like that, honestly. All right. Let's submit another one to Lego Ideas. If we just keep putting them in, eventually they have to say yes.
I'm guessing they haven't accepted it because it's owned by Disney, and they have Disney.
Sure. But, like, then just stop allowing.
What I'm really waiting for is Avatar: The Last Airbender to go through.
Me too. There've been so many good sets. It's so painful.
I recently got the Sokka figure. Oh, it's so bad.
Oh, no. Those figures are horrible. The only, like, somewhat
I want to get the sets
are
at some
Aang
point.
and Zuko.
Even, because they're terrible. Yeah, but barely. The Fire Nation soldiers are pretty good, too.
You don't like the shit, but it's, like, it's good. I mean, yeah, it shoots bricks, but, like, besides that, it's not too bad for the time period.
Yeah, I guess. I'll give it to you.
Like, it's a decent shape. It's definitely not the best, but, like, I've seen a review on it, and it's not. I would actually not mind owning that if it didn't go for $500 now.
For $100?
No,
Dang,
I said
you should have bought that.
I said 500.
Oh yeah, no, that's about 100. You should buy it. 500 is
100. That thing would be gone faster than I could blink, dude. Maybe with the new series coming out.
Yeah, I saw one
that would
on.
be hopeful thinking.
That's my speculation. That's my thinking why they keep rejecting it, because like there's been so many like idea submissions since like they announced the Netflix live action series that have been denied, and because like they announced that back in 2020, but it's just been delayed so long in production because of the pandemic and now the strikes.
Right.
But my speculation is they would be planning to build sets, and they were already planning to do so, and that's why it's being rejected.
Hopefully. I really hope so, because that would be amazing. All right. Then we also got one from tyrannical_545, who asks, as a Castle fan, what are your thoughts on Nexo Knights?
I like Nexo Knights. So
Hell
many
yeah!
Castle fans do not like Nexo Knights. It's fun.
Right?
I watched the first season of the show. I never like cared enough to pick it up after that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But it's just like the sets were cool. The premise was cool. Like at some point I want to build like a small army of like the initial bad guys, those like red orc things.
Yeah, the like lava
they're
monsters.
Cool, amazing printing. Yeah, that's right, the lava monsters. Like Jestro's volcano layer, that's one of the ones that I have. It's no longer built, but that was such an amazing set. And then there were so many of the vehicles. Like they would transform, they would fold in weird ways that were really cool.
Oh yeah.
I 100% get why Castle fans don't like Nexo Knights. But because it's kind of like laughing in the face of Castle fans that like it's almost Castle, but you're not getting what you actually want.
It's like a tease, exactly.
But I definitely do like Nexo Knights.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, honestly, because like I really like it too, and it's sad to hear how much hate it gets from like Castle fans. But I once again I get it. But also, like, it's not a bad theme. Like, the sets are good for the most part. And, like, they're really solid. The show is another story, but the sets are great. And, like, that was, like, when that came out, that was so exciting. Like, the 4-tracks, I remember getting that thing in Toys R Us with one of my best friends at the time, and it was, like, the coolest thing ever. and just all the transformations and God.
Have you seen Joey's Fortrex?
Master Model Builder Joey?
He turned the
No.
yellow castle into the Fortrex.
Oh wait, maybe I have.
It's
seen
really
that.
cool.
I'll have to look that up. That sounds awesome. Yeah,
Shout out Lego.Joey / Master Model Builder Joey.
I haven't
He's
met
an
him
awesome
yet,
guy.
but he seems like a cool guy.
Speaking of themes that people don't like, Friends.
Yeah, exactly. So
Friends
Ben,
started out pretty rough,
it did. Absolutely.
but now I think the sets themselves are better than city sets.
Okay. Honestly, though, agree. Like, they're more city than city is, which is ironic.
Yeah, I haven't been buying them. I get them in like bulk lots every once in a while. Friend sets. They're not something I would collect. Like, I also don't collect city, or even buy. Not even just to collect. If I was going to be buying one of the two, it would likely be Friends over Lego City. That botanical garden. I'm probably gonna buy that at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you could get two and make it like a fully enclosed thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good set, especially with the latest wave. It's just they really stepped up their game in making it a bit more gender neutral, which is nice. And the sets just like they work with other things now, despite being in a slightly different scale from minifigures. Like they just work, and they're just like genuinely. I've walked into stores and been like, that friend set is pretty cool. Like I could get it. I could.
Yeah. Like, Lego has a weird trend with themes targeted towards girls. And, like, because, like, there was Scala and Belleville.
God, don't remind me of that horror.
Paradiso was really good.
Right.
The pieces from those are really fun and interesting
They
for, like,
are.
mock building purposes. But they were weird.
Oh God, they were horrible.
But, like,
Barbie ripoffs. Ugh.
But since, like, Friends' inception, it's been one of their best-selling themes.
Yeah. No, absolutely, it has. It's interesting to me how the mini doll actually does well. I mean, there's no denying that Friends partially sells because of the mini dolls. I think. I mean, they've done market research. It's just weird to me.
Except for, like, elves, I don't care for the mini dolls.
Yeah.
I think it would be better if they were minifigures, but I'm not the target audience.
True. Yeah.
I've heard from people who they prefer the mini doll over the minifigure, and it's like, I'm glad there's someone out there that's like keeping this going, like in the AFOL community and the things like that.
Exactly. No, I think they do have their place. It would just be nice to get like minifigure versions of like some of the characters from like Disney and stuff like that. And which is happening more, but like there are still some that I know people are wanting. And like maybe getting some of the like skin tone expressions on like from Friends on minifigures as well, I think would be really cool. Like the torso prints as well. Some of them are so great.
That would be cool. Having more different faces and different skin tones.
Absolutely.
I just need more.
I love the new characters they have for the reboot as well. Like I genuinely enjoy them. I think they're so much fun. Leo is the best, by the way. No bias. Not because I'm a Leo at all. And he's like really cool. But anyways, yeah, no, the characters are great.
I haven't paid that much attention to it, like the characters, but I do think they look pretty good for the characters.
And even like they're nailing the small sets. Like they've done rooms for each of the characters, like Nova's room especially, like the gaming setup one. It's great. It's like what, $15-$20. You get their room, 2 characters, some fun stuff, boom. It's like other themes need to be doing that. Take notes. Seriously. Like come on, other themes.
Absolutely.
And also, like, what was I gonna say? You opened a can of worms there by mentioning elves, because I didn't realize that I had such a passion for elves until I realized how cool it was. But god damn it, I slept on that theme. It was
They're
so
expensive.
Cool. Are they? Wait. I haven't checked this.
They are freakishly expensive.
No, because I wanted to buy some. That's bad. Don't be. Holy shit. What? What? I just see like Arya and the Song of the Wind Dragon. That's like a good maybe like $80 set. It's like $100. The first price listing is like $102. Well, okay, the first ones I'm
Yeah.
reading here actually aren't too bad, just because they're some of the like, what? It's like a tiny set
Look
for
at
like
the average
$110.
As soon as they have like a big animal or a dragon, man, does the price skyrocket.
Dude, just like the Elves Treetop Hideaway, it's not that crazy of a set. The average price is $92.
Which one?
It's one of the Elves Treetop Hideaway. It's just like a purple leaved tree with like a house in it. That's new. Elves is just really good. It was like so colorful. The characters were interesting, even though they were mini dolls. I'd prefer them be minifigures, but like they were so good.
Oh,
And like
yeah.
just the vibe of it. It was so cool, and I cannot believe I just ignored it for so long. And then now it's like the dragons were great, the scenes were great, and I just didn't. It just right over my head. And I think a lot of
The
people
mini
too.
dolls for the villains. Oh, those are like my favorite. Those like villain
Yeah.
ones.
The hairs are great. I really want to buy a bunch of those and use those on figures because they're just mwah.
That's the most expensive part of the figure.
Oh God! No, that's not
Because
okay.
you can use it with minifigures.
Yeah, God. Oh well. Hopefully, I really hope they do like another magical theme kind of like that because I think it really could have done well, Elves, and like they even had a short run TV show. Like I mean, they had some shorts, but they had like a proper Netflix show that had a few episodes that was like, I mean, it was
Yeah.
decent. Like it was fun. That could have done so much better. I think they really
I still need to watch that.
It's pretty good. I'd recommend it. But like, yeah, it's
I think it was Shy Time Is My Time. He made a video on why elves. No, it was Emmosaurus. Why elves didn't get renewed for
oh,
more sets.
I gotta
It's
watch
because
that.
it was like one of her vlogs. I think it was. It was either Emmosaurus in her vlog or it was Shy Time Is My Time. But basically, the second wave did not sell well.
Right.
So they decided to cancel it after the third wave. But the third wave did sell well. But because they had already decided to cancel it, they were like, no, we're good. We're not going to try to renew it.
Lego, because I remember Shy made a video on this where I think it was recently. It was said that Lego decides if a theme's going to continue from how well the second wave sells.
Yeah.
Which
and I think it was Brick Slope's like panel that all came from.
Exactly. That's fascinating to know. So I guess we know that if we want a theme to succeed, buy a lot of the second wave. But I feel like that's such a flawed way of looking at it because sometimes it takes a bit longer. Like with Elves, the third wave. So like, that sucks to hear. Had a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But at least we got a handful of sets out of it anyways. But I really feel like they do need to go back to do some kind of magical theme like that because I think that was the backbone of a lot of Lego stuff for a while.
Yeah. Like there was the rumored like dwarf series that was going to come out that was like also mini dolls going to be in the like friend style.
What?
I'm so excited for it. Yeah. It was a fake rumor for a dwarves series like how Elves was. I was so disappointed it got canceled.
It got well, it was
not canceled. Yeah. It was just never true.
Exactly. Canceled. Can you imagine though, like short legs for mini doll figures? I mean, they got the kid figures, but like I assume it would be like in between that and the fully sized ones. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll never know.
We'll never know. I feel like somebody needs to make a custom of that now. Somebody has to do that.
That would be kind of cool.
Joseph Nathaniel, who asks, how long does it take to build the castles that you build? I added the that you build part.
So I actually build relatively fast. Like I just built a Renaissance fair build. It took me an afternoon, and it's a pretty decent size. The ones that like you can see now, because I always forget to post things on Instagram.
I feel that.
The turquoise Tudor builds that should be on my YouTube channel. That took me a day initially, and then I took a couple more hours to rework the base of it. Like my Duchess's Crow, that took me a couple weeks, maybe off and on building.
That's
But
impressive.
generally, because I don't build huge, it takes me a day. And if I build bigger and more detailed, it takes a few days or a week.
Wow. That's
Generally
really
a short amount of time.
That's really impressive, honestly, because I'm a slow builder, so like I respect that. Speaking of the Duchess's Crow, you mentioned in one of your videos that you half built it at Brick Fair, Virginia 2022. How the hell does one do that? How did you do that? Like,
So that was the first version of the Duchess's Crow. The one that, if you went to Brick World or Brick Fair this year, and if you saw it, and that's the one you've seen, that is the second version. I completely reworked it from the first version. I started ground up, but it was... My local lug has a monthly build challenge every month, and the theme for that month, which was, I guess, was the August meeting, because it was futuristic military. So I started working on this space pirate ship. But then I realized, oh, I can't participate because I won the previous month build challenge, so that slowed a lot of the work on the ship.
oh.
So I had a good chunk of the hull done before leaving, and I still had to do like the sails and like the top of the top deck and all that good stuff there. But basically what I did was I took all the pieces that were on my desk while I was building and just scooped it all into a bin.
Oh my god.
And then I brought pieces that I think I would probably end up using. And then during the 3 days of Brick Fair, I just spent that all building it.
Wow.
I do not recommend doing that.
No.
It was fun. Like, just being able to build and just stand there and chat with people for hours. But I had so much more fun being able to go out and hang with people and not have to be with my stuff the whole time. And
Right.
I was able to go do things rather than just be building the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, that does take a lot of time, as you said, the whole 3 days to, like, complete that thing. Not even just rebuilding it from it breaking a bit, but, like, just designing it. That's very impressive, though. Like, props to you, man, because that's crazy. We got one more viewer-submitted question by JWX Bricks. He asks, why does... he said why, but I think he meant where. Why does he get his inspiration for what he builds? So, where does he get the inspiration for what he builds? Great.
I get it from just about everywhere. Through movies and TV, through other builds, through just artwork in general, through other people in the community. And like I'd mentioned, like my Lug's monthly build challenge, I often get... It's a random task to do every month, and so I get inspired to do that, and I get to build all sorts of various things that I probably wouldn't think of ever building.
That's good, though. But let's ask the alternate version of that question. Why do you get inspiration for what you build? Huh? Who gave you the right to get inspired?
I don't even know how to answer that jokingly.
Just why? You know, you make people who don't get inspired feel bad because you're inspired, you know? Think about how other people feel. Oh, man. Anyways.
I guess why is the monetary reasons from trying to get monetized on YouTube.
Oh, so you just do it for the money then? You just sell out?
100%.
Oh, my God.
Huge sellout.
Let's see. Well, I'd say I'm going to ask one more question and then we'll wrap up. So, do you have any Lego hot takes or unpopular opinions? This isn't a viewer submitted question. This is just one of mine.
Oh.
If not, it's good.
The Lego Star Wars community needs to calm down. It's not that bad. Just relax. It is a toy for kids. Calm down.
Alright, so we're going to put that into a YouTube short, release it with no context whatsoever. Ben the Brick Builder's controversial statement. Oh my god. How to get a Lego content creator.
I am someone in the Lego Star Wars community, but like...
Yeah.
we don't need to be that nitpicky.
Yeah, fair enough, honestly. How to get a Lego creator canceled in 2023. Oh, man. All right. Well, for the final question, do you have any advice for TFOLs?
Give up some of your Lego for dirt cheap.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that a bit more?
I'm just kidding.
Can you elaborate on that statement a bit more? Jesus Christ. For a second, I was like, my God, I haven't heard that one
okay.
yet.
But in reality, stick with it. If you just want to be building, find something that you can build and just build over and over, like theme wise, that enjoys you, that it excites you. Find something that, don't always do it for other people. Find something that other people like that you can build. If you want to do content creation as part of it, just start. If you're worried about your first videos being bad, don't worry. No one's going to see them. It's not to be rude, but like, that's the harsh reality of it. No one's going to see it. Your first builds, probably no one's going to see it. But once you can repeatedly put things out there, you'll get more and more people seeing it, giving feedback on it. And the more and more you do it, you're going to be getting better at it just through practicing alone. Just keep at it. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fantastic, honestly. Like, that's really great advice. I love that. So, thank you so much for coming on the show, Ben. It was awesome having you. And before we end this episode, do you have any social media or other things like that you'd like to plug?
Nope. Bye.
All right, everybody. That was Ben the Brick Builder.
I'm Ben the Brick Builder on every platform: YouTube, Instagram, Flickr, Twitch, TikTok.
All right, so Ben the Brick Builder on all platforms then.
Yep.
All right, and if people want to see your content the most, where would you say you most frequently share stuff?
YouTube, 100%. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Watch all my stuff 100 times. Help me get monetized.
Help this man get monetized so he can put out more awesome content. And Nexonites loving content. We need more of that.
I do want to do some Nexonite stuff.
That'd be epic.
I have, this is sneak peek for you guys who made it to the end of the podcast. My lug is planning there's a lot of them that are into Ice Planet. And I think, cause I gotta make everything about Castle, using a lot of the Nexonite stuff, you could make Castle Ice Planet.
Oh, that would be
It's
so
the trans
cool.
neon orange. You got the blues and the grays and the blacks.
True.
It would be perfect for Ice Planet.
Ben,
So sneak peek for y'all who made it to the end.
I do have something unfortunate to
Nexonite's
say.
Ice Planet.
I think Brad shared a post by somebody. Oh, Nexonite's Ice Planet. Okay, because I was going to say somebody has already done Castle Ice Planet.
Yes, that's Brick Step. I saw that the other night. I was like, oh, someone beat me to the punch.
Right? But no, Nexonite's Ice Planet, that works though, completely.
Yeah. I would frame it more as I'm turning Castle into Ice Planet, but the only way I'm able to do it is because of Nexonite's parts.
We love Nexonites. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. It means the world, and I hope you enjoyed. Links to the things and people we talked about will be in the description as always. New episodes now released once every 2 weeks on Tuesdays for TFOL Talk Tuesday, and you can find updates, announcements, and more regarding the podcast over on my Twitter or Instagram, and maybe Threads when I start using that, all of which are @DoodleBricks. Anyways, that's all for now, and we'll see you all later.
Bye.